Okay, so for those of you who might be watching this recorded, this is week 2. It's a Tuesday. So let's start. Oh, I wanted to pull up this. This is our syllabus, although I know some of you haven't bothered to look at the syllabus, right? Unless I say you must read this because otherwise it'll be a quiz. You don't, I know. But just so you can see kind of an overview of where we're at, in the middle of the syllabus, you're going to see this, and it kind of walks you through sequence 1, sequence 2, sequence 3, the final exam, and the stuff there. So if that's helpful to you, I just wanted to point out that that was there. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there's some stuff there that you should take a look at. Let's go into, let's see. Oh, I want to talk about sequence 1. So far, I actually had you originally bringing something to class today, and then I decided that's not really cool because you guys haven't had the time to really like get a feel for this. So let's talk through what that could mean. So you will have something that is due soon, and this today. Well, let's talk through what it is. Okay, so if you open up the sequence 1, you're going to find a bunch of stuff. One of them is the components. I'm going to open that in a minute, but I wanted to point out this folder here. Lots of students love this one because it's student samples from the past. Okay. Now, that being said, sometimes you know how you are. Like you have some ideas. I'm going to point out what ideas you can have. But sometimes once you've looked at the student samples, it kind of limits your ideas because you're like, oh, they did this and it worked, so I'm just not going to have the same idea. So don't do that. I want you to have some flexibility on what you decide to do with this before you look at the student samples. I also want to point out the online tutor here. That's not, so we have 2 different options for tutoring. Writing Center, and I'm going to have the Writing Center come in, I think it's the next Tuesday that we meet, just to kind of give you a walkthrough. You guys are actually going to be analyzing the way that the Writing Center works or doesn't work here as part of product number 1. I'm going to take this up while I'm up here so you guys can hear me better. All right, so let's first look at that. Oh yeah, there we go. I shouldn't look behind me. That works. By the way, if you do not have Microsoft Word or Office Suite, it is free for all students, so don't buy it anywhere. Let me know if you need to know where that is. All right, so this is our requirement, grading rubric, all this good stuff. So you're going to produce a report. Now this report is going to be a report that proposes something. Okay, so it's going to be, you're making a feasibility report. Now you're probably going to be reading some of the things in your book that will talk through various types of reports. This one will be, you are proposing an idea and showing that it's feasible. Now this is something you'll be doing in lots of places in your own job in the future as well, probably. So the top part kind of walks you through all the sections, what you're going to be looking for. This is going to be an IEEE. You haven't learned IEEE yet, don't panic, don't have it. So there's stuff that you're going to need to know. You're going to have a title page, you're going to have an abstract, we're going to talk through what all these things are. You're going to talk through a biographical sketch of somebody at the Writing Center. So figure that one out. And then you're going to have some sort of a research question. This research question will be, what could be better and why and how? Okay, so I'm going to show you the website in a minute, and you're going to look at it and go, some things work, some things don't. Okay. And so this isn't really meant as a slide in front of you. Obviously, this is really meant for more for you to pull up online and take a look at in front of you on a screen. But I wanted to point out all the different things you're going to look at. Now, what you're going to need. It's research-based, so you are going to have at least 3 distinct research sources. Now, one of them is going to be given to you, and that will be actually the Writing Center itself, okay, online. You'll find 2 other ones. They could be any of these things. They could be personal interviews, articles, newspaper reports, other writing centers online from other colleges, financial reports, primary sources, anything. These are all things. Most of you will choose to look at other writing centers online. Once I show you a sample, it'll make a whole lot more sense. Okay? So I'm not going to walk you through all of this, but I wanted to point out that it's here. So So when you start to write that, eventually you want to go back and pull it up and look at it, right? Now, what are your first thing? Let's open up these student samples. The first thing you do is going to be a memo. And you're going to be writing this memo today. It's going to be a very rough draft today. Because basically your idea will be, you'll be coming up with what I'm going to do. You're going to put together a quick memo on it, and you're going to put it online, and I'll show you where that will go. Let's take a look at a sample memo. What's the memo? The memo just says, here's my idea. Here's what I'm going to think I'm going to do. So here's one from Dalton. Some of you might know Dalton. Basically, this is here to show you what a memo looks like. Really simple. Okay. To, from, date, subject. All this stuff's pretty easy, right? I'm going to do this. Subject. What's the subject? We have to come up with what your subject's going to be. All of you are going to be writing about the Writing Center webpage itself and something wrong with it. Something you think could be improved. Okay. So he decided to talk about, here's an introduction. He decided to talk about the page layout and the social media utilization. So he decided to talk about those two things. Okay. You guys are going to figure out something else. Notice it's all one page. Okay, so once you figure out what it is, here's your subject, then you're basically saying, this is what I want to do with it. Okay, now, I'm going to pull that. Notice there are all kinds of other samples here. Some of them are the actual feasibility report. The memo is just the first thing saying, this is what I think I'm going to do my feasibility report on. It's going to take us 3 weeks to get to that point. Okay, so, but there are also sample feasibility reports here so you can see what they look like. Just the top one is the memo, okay? Make sense? All right, so let's go back and take a look at week number 2. All right, so we're now week number 2. So when you open up week 2, you're going to see always those 2 folders, right? One is where you're going to turn in your assignments for the week. The other is going to be helpful stuff. I'm opening helpful stuff. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. This is where you might find the Writing Center online link. Now, of course, you can find it anywhere else by just going to the Writing Center link for Indiana Tech. Okay, now let's take a look at it. Some of you have probably used this before. Some of you haven't. Some of you have just walked in, so you haven't used the website, right? All right, now take a look at it, and I want you to grab a piece of paper or your notes on your phone or something, wherever you write notes. And I want you to do a little brainstorming here. So as I scroll down, I want you to tell me like your impression. So I'm going to have you do this in a minute. After I scroll through this stuff, I'm going to have you report a couple of ideas to somebody else. Okay, so you're going to feedback, you're going to do a little bit of feedback for somebody else here. So write a couple things down. And yes, by the way, anytime you're up here, as far as presenting, I will let you take your masks off. So otherwise, you can't hear, right? Okay, so here's your Writing Center. Let's say you decide, I want some help with my Writing Center memo, which this teacher in English has given me to do. What am I supposed to do with it? I don't know. Let me figure it out. Where can I find stuff? So you go to this website and you start going, okay, what are your first thoughts? Think about them. Do you see anything up here that's helpful to you? Let's make it as big as I can here. What do you want to know first? You have this thing, you want some help. What's the first thing you want to know? Where do I put it, right? Where can I put this file? Okay, so, well, okay, you got to book a slot. You could upload your paper and get feedback. Okay, so you can do that, all right? So you're kind of looking around and you're looking at the headings, right? If you've ever tried to put together a website or build one, you know it's much more difficult to build something that works than not, right? Every semester I have this trouble when I try and put Blackboard together, I think, how do they find this stuff easily? It's much more difficult than you think, right? Well, we've got this stuff over here. We got a little menu, right? Meet the Writing Center staff, writing resources, tutor application, virtual reality, communication lab, where to find us. Are any of those first information that you need. Maybe. So you start, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be clicking around on this and going, okay, okay, so I can meet people. This is cool. Undergraduate students, that's me, right? So, all right, so, and they got a little questions bar. This is kind of new, so that's cool, right? So if you want to make an appointment, so what are the things you might want to know about things? So let's say you have to learn IEEE soon. So you might go, does anybody know IEEE? That would be fairly useful to know what kind of formats they know, or maybe are they engineering students? Well, you can see this one's business administration, so okay. This one's pre-law business, so you can find out some information, right? So is this good or not good? Does this help you right away? Maybe, right? I'm just showing you what's here, right? Sophomore, we got digital. So, all right, so you do what most people do. You start clicking around a little bit, going, okay, what are writing resources? I don't know. Oh, okay, we got APA, we got MLA. Hey, we do have some IEEE there. All right, so there's something there. Okay, so we've got this. Tutor application. Well, probably you're not immediately going to know that or want that, right? Because you're going for help, but at least it's there. Virtual communication lab. Well, that's kind of cool. I don't know what that is, but I'll keep that in my mind, right? Where to find us? Let's see. Okay, where to find us? Anybody? Who's the freshman? Okay, freshman. Does this help? Writing Center is in the Snyder Academic Center on the second floor of Macmillan. Do you immediately know where that is? Okay. The first day you walked in, would you have known? What would be helpful there? A map would be really helpful. Or even here's where you are, here's where we are, connection to Google, right? So, okay, it can be useful, right? But you can find them. So we can at least find them. We have the hours, okay, so, and then again, there's another link. So you can make an appointment, right? Okay, so now, where the hell did I find that stuff at the beginning with? Wait a minute, there's no home here. How do I get back? I have to go back to find it, right? That's irritating, isn't it? So in order to find the beginning here, I have to figure out, okay, we're going back, we went backwards. All right, so we have writing space, classroom assistance, workshop. Okay, so we've basically gone through everything except for this. Let's take a look at where you could submit something online. Okay, so if I really wanted to submit something online, I don't want to walk in. You guys are like that, right? So at least you could go here, you could register for a quick account, and then actually do stuff online. Okay, so that is that possibility. Now that you've kind of seen everything that's there, think about that for a minute. Take 2 seconds, brainstorm. What are things that could be better about the Writing Center website? Just brainstorm them down on a piece of paper or something. I'm going to have you share those with somebody else in a minute. Okay, if you are in the front of the class, I want you to get up and walk to the back of the class, find somebody and share 2 things that you found and have them share back. So I'll make the back of the class do this sometimes too, sorry. So there's how many of you? There's 15, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 7 of you have to get up, sorry. The front 7 people. Go find somebody else, introduce yourself. There's 1 extra person, so 1 group's going to be 3. Grab this group right here and just be 3. Because we got 1 extra, so.
John, are you? I live northeast. It's only bad if you guys try. They make the roads. Usually all the time.
Okay, so staying where you guys are at the moment. Yeah, you gotta get to know. You're really so far away. All right, so I want to know some ideas. So just kind of start throwing them out. I'm gonna go around like just start throwing out ideas. It'll get harder as we get to the site. Sorry, because they'll start stealing your ideas. But what's one idea you guys have?
For ours, increasing the application for a tutor, it's just a bunch of information, like ask for your address and everything. Yeah, this like seems like a bunch of unnecessary.
Unnecessary stuff, like which would discourage you. You'd be like, oh, I don't want to do this. Too hard, right? Okay. Anything else from your guys' group that you want to throw out there?
I think more obvious things in the papers you could easily skip past that little.
Yeah, that little tiny link. Like, where am I supposed to put the paper? Big giant box would be good, right? Submit paper here, right? Because isn't that what you mostly want to do, right? Yeah. All right, you guys are back.
When it came to writing resources, I feel like it should be a little better organized. Maybe something more akin to what Purdue OWL has, where they have all the links on the side. That way, you don't have to scroll through an entire page to find the facts that you're looking for.
Okay, and he's jumping ahead too, so that's even good. To say something can be feasible, what's the best next thing to do is to say, for example, Purdue OWL has already done it. Look over here, right? So that'll be the next thing you guys start thinking about. Okay, anything else over there that you want to throw? Okay, back. Yeah.
I thought like maybe do really do links where they have like examples of certain papers, projects, the formatting and what to do.
Sure.
In case somebody's just looking for like that quick information check.
Just show me something, right? Isn't that what most of us are like visual? We want to see it. Okay. Anything else? Okay. It's Roxanne?
Yep.
Cool. Coming up to the next row. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I said like, we said like, better page layout, like making it more simpler for like new students kind of, so.
So it's friendlier when you first like look at it. Yeah, it's not very friendly, is it? It's just like a giant chunk of text. You're like
More pictures, I guess.
pictures, more plastic, right? Yeah, exactly. Maps, pictures, stuff that you can see. All right, you guys, third row.
I said like a homepage button would probably be nice to take you back to where you originally started.
Right.
Once you start clicking
Homepage.
around, it's hard to get back to where you started.
It's like back, really. I have to go back. Okay, anything else in this guy? You guys? No. Okay. I hear you.
So like with certain links, they'll take you to like almost a complete separate like part of the website, like the virtual reality lab.
Which we should look at. Yeah.
And so then instead of like, and it stays on the same tab, so it's not like you can just go back to the back.
You can't go back, and in fact,
And
it
like,
gives you a whole new menu. You're like,
and it's hard to see, but right above it is the writing center, which will take you back, but it's still not like.
right. It takes you to like the whole school thing, which you're here in the writing lab. You don't want to, right? You're probably not looking for textbooks at this moment. Yes. Good call on that one. Yeah. So you can sort of go back to, but yeah. Virtual reality. Speaking, did you guys do anything? Anybody do anything with looking at the virtual reality? When you think of virtual reality, do you envision a large chunk of text? So back to you guys with the pictures. If there's something cool like this, should we not see a picture? Right. Okay, back in the back to you guys. Did you have anything that we talked about?
I said under like the writing resources tab, where they have the different styles of writing, maybe like have a list of the tutors who specialize in that. So
Wouldn't
like,
that be
if someone-
handy? Good idea. Yeah, so when she's got like meet the writing center staff, yeah, knowing or either here or there or both, right? Or the writing resources. Next to each one, expert on this one, names or links or whatever, right? That'd be really handy. Yeah. So when you start to use this stuff, you start to see there's really a lot of ways that it could be better, right? Okay, so if you guys want to get back up and go back where you were from, or if you want to stay there, whatever. Hopefully you'll collect a few names and a few more people that you know as you do this. Next time it's the back, they have to move though, so. Okay, so now you have a basic idea of some problems that are here, right? So if you're thinking about a feasibility report, you're going to be doing all kinds of things, in the future with your job. I'm helping a company write a feasibility report right now. So I do freelance stuff too, and they are trying to say to another company, we would like to take over your tablet repair. They have students, and their students use our tablets. So they're saying the company that you currently use isn't fast enough because you have to take your broken iPad, just stick them in the mail have to, send them away, and then they have to come back. We're right here, and we can do it for, much faster, right? So they first have to see the problem. Problem is iPads aren't getting repaired fast enough. Students are without iPads. The second thing of that is, here's the problem, but then here's what we could do about it, right? So that's the next thing that you guys have to kind of think about. One, you see a problem. Second, what is the solution? And third, how do we know that solution is feasible? Right, feasibility report, right? So let's take a look at a student sample. I'm going to go back over to our sequence stuff. Open up sequence 1 and find the student samples. And we're just going to pick one. Oh, let's see.
Rudolph.
Rudolph? Okay,
I know.
we'll see here. All right. Here's John. Okay, you can tell him you saw his stuff and he's famous now. All right, so this was his feasibility report. So he decided to pick, let's see here. This is really going to scare you now because you're going to be like, oh my God, look at that report's format. Ah. So what does he have over here? Some sort of problem. Tutor.com is an online live tutoring source that they pay for all students. It's open 24/7. But here's the issue. Isn't this cool? Like when you're trying to skim stuff and you see like headings. Headings are cool, are they? You know, that means you can like, I'm looking for the thing. I'm finding it really fast. Many students are not aware of Tutor.com as a resource. There's no mention of it on our Writing Center website. There's no. So his thought was, you guys have actually two different options for resources for tutoring, which you probably don't even know about. One is the Writing Center, which we just looked at. The other one is an online resource that's tutor.com. So you have two totally different ones. And he's saying you would never know that by going to the Writing Center itself, right? So there's a problem. So that's just one way of looking at it. Now scroll down and see what he's done here. So he's saying to make it, to fix it, what we could do, here's his proposal. We'll add the link, we'll integrate with Let Me In, why it would help, and then he has some pictures of what it might look like if we did it this way. Okay. Now, in order to do that, he had to go somewhere else, and I'm gonna pull up another one. I think she has some pictures. Okay, yeah, here we go. By the way, you guys are going to get better at this as you move along. So on these first student samples, you're going to see some minor stuff like pictures went off the side. She's still trying to figure out how to do this. But this is the first time around when you guys do IEEE in this, you're going to screw stuff up because you're just attempting it the first time around. Okay, so relax on the IEEE. I'm not actually grading the IEEE on the first report. You have to put it in it, but it's your practice run. Okay. So what she did. When she picked a problem, one of the problems was there was no like visuals like you guys had. So she went and found another, college. In this case, it's the Writing Center, University of North Carolina, which is really actually a cool one, and said, look at what they do. Here's some screenshots of what theirs looked like. So problem, solution, it's feasible because we have examples. Okay, that's what you guys have to come up with, right? First of all, pick a problem. You don't want to pick, you probably saw lots of problems. Pick one. You're just sticking to one. Maybe some people have done two because they're connected in some way, but you don't want to pick like all the problems on the Writing Center website because that'll drive you crazy. Okay? You just want like one or two. Okay? And then you're going to be out there going, okay, so I see it's a problem. How do I know that somebody else can fix it? Well, we're going to go find somebody else that says so. OWL is always a good example, so let's pull up the OWL. If you aren't familiar with it, let's try. OWL stands for Online Writing Lab. It's Purdue. If you were to do the same thing with the OWL Writing Lab, you would probably have other criticisms, such as there's all this advertising, right? But you could use something like the OWL to say, okay, this could be better, and here's an example of how it could be better. Look at how much stuff they have. Look, they're actually linked to actually citing things. Look, whatever the criticism that you have would be. Okay, so now, if you recall, I said that the end product is going to be due in week 4. Okay, so the feasibility report's due in week 4, right? A little ways out there. What are you going to do today? Well, you have to come up with the problem, the potential solution, and write a little memo for me. All right, so let's look at what you have to do. Get rid of all that stuff. Remember, all those student samples are in the sequence 1 link up here. Okay, so the sequence 1, 2, and 3. Once you open that up and you go into sequence 1, that's where you're going to find all those student samples for the future. Okay. So week 2, if you go into helpful stuff, you're going to see that's where the link for the writing center is in there. There's some links for writing memos. That kind of stuff is in there too. Here's your assignments. Okay, so you have 2 chapters, 3 and 14. Those chapters, this particular time, I'm not going to quiz you over, but they are going to show you examples of memos and feasibility reports and that sort of thing. So really useful. Okay. What do you have due by tonight? You have a quick rough draft of a memo. You're going to post it there. Okay, and then so sometime before midnight tonight, you're going to post this really quick. All right, I've got a memo, quick idea. What's my idea? The memos are intended to be really fast. Okay, rough draft. This is a rough draft. This is a discussion board. It is not for a grade for me. It's for a discussion board to discuss it and see what other people are doing. Okay, so not to kill you. Eventually, then, after you post it, I want you to take and look at least 3 of your peers. So once everybody gets it posted by midnight, tomorrow, the next day, look at least 3 of your peers, give some comments. It'll help you to see what are they doing too. Maybe oftentimes you'll start trading some ideas and go, oh, that's a really good one. I like that one. Or that kind of correlates what I was thinking. Or maybe they have a really good website like the OWL. Maybe I can try to do that. So it's really helpful to get those feedback from each other as well. Okay, so rough draft of the feasibility memo, not the report. Okay, not the feasibility report. This is just a memo saying this is what I'm going to do. Everybody clear on those 2 differences? Okay, so not writing the report. The memo is just saying, okay, I'm going to choose this problem. This is what I think we could do about it, and maybe take 5 minutes to look online and look out there and see where are other writing centers, or sometimes people look at museums, because sometimes museums are really good at education and stuff too. What's something else on the website that does this better? And here's an example. Okay, so that's what your memo is going to contain. Problem, solution, why it's feasible. If you have some links, put them in the memo too. But at this point, you're just kind of thinking through, what am I going to do with it? Okay, everybody good on that one? Okay, and this is the rough draft of the memo. So you're going to put it in this discussion board. Then what's due at the end of the week? Saturday by 11:59, your final. So after you discuss it, you see other people's memos, you look at how they've done it, you realize, oh, I screwed that format up, or this could be a whole lot better, I can make my wording a little better, I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and I'm going to turn in my final memo here by Saturday. Okay, and that's when I tell you, okay, sounds like a good plan. Now you're ready to start the feasibility report itself next week. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at next week. Since I only see you on Tuesdays, what are we going to do next week? We do have useful stuff. Next week, you're going to do a quick presentation. You're not going to turn anything in there. Basically, you're going to take a minute or 2 and say, this is what I'm doing. And what are we going to say? And you're going to tell us about one of the colleges or museums or some other thing or businesses that you're going to use as a source. Again, that'll be helpful because everybody will get a chance to go, oh, okay, that's what they're doing, and they found this other cool site. That's cool, because you'll continually be working on how can you improve your feasibility thoughts before you write it. Okay? Next week, then, I will introduce you to IEEE stuff too. Okay. Okay, so clear and everybody's good on what you're going to do? Cool. All right. If you want for this one, when I see you next Tuesday, if you want to like show us the website of one you're going to use, which you're welcome to do, as long as you can do it within 2 to 3 minutes max, because we want to get through everybody. Remember what the website is so you can pull it up really fast when you're ready to come up here. You're welcome to do that. Or you can just stand where you are and talk about it too. Either one of those is absolutely fine. All right, questions? Feel good about this? Feel panicked about this? Either way. So the first thing I would do is go back to that Writing Center website and just kind of scroll through it again and get your thoughts in order, right? What's wrong with this thing? Then go maybe to Google, type in you know, something that, like the websites, writing centers, museums, just kind of like look through it and see how did they do it. And that might change your mind on what the solution is too, right? It might totally change your mind once you see how somebody else does it. So then write that quick memo. Remember that I've given you links on there on what a memo should look like. It should be no more than 1 page long. Okay? Okay. Go away. Or say if you can talk. And anybody watching this online, you can feel free to email me with questions if you have, and we'll make sure that you're knowing what you're doing. So have a fabulous day.